makes me want to puke. This is terrifying, but I'm gonna do it. God damn it! I want to do the thing that people do in like TV shows and stuff, and I did. I got up there and I was like, I gave a little speech and I was like, the dance is coming up, and I just have one question. You go to the dance with me, you know, and everyone's kind of like, whoa, woo, woo, kid stuff, and she said yes. And I was like, wow, awesome. Thank God. You could have said no. That would have been crushing for me. That would have been just so embarrassing. And we went to the dance, and we went to dinner at a restaurant, and she did not sit next to me. She sat next to another boy who she was apparently very interested in, and who was apparently, I think, maybe planning on asking her, or they were going to be dating or something like that. Like they were like practically dating. And I just inserted myself. It turns out she couldn't say no because I asked her in front of 250 other people. I had thought this was such a clever romantic plan. I was like, it'll be great. It'll just be, she'll be like, whoa, wow, that's awesome. I'll just hang out with this. No, I pressured this girl into agreeing to something that she had no interest in doing, which is fine. She doesn't have to like me and want to go out with me. But then I still think it was a little hurtful and rude that she essentially ditched me. She ditched me before we hung out at all. I like picked her up, we went to the restaurant, didn't really talk to me at the restaurant, and then I never saw her again in the rest of my life.
Was she like moved? She just, I have to leave.
I don't know. I know she still exists.
She grew a mustache, changed her name.
We were Facebook friends. I know she didn't like die tragically or something. She disappeared at the dance, and I don't know what happened. But my advice would be, don't fucking do that, idiots.
Like, you don't really think about that though. Whenever you're like asking somebody else, you don't think about like their perspective on it. You're like, oh man, I want to do that. Like you said, your mind, it was, this will be some awesome romantic gestures. It'll be awesome. It's gonna be really tough for me to do this, but like, you know, maybe she'll say yes, maybe she'll say no. Who knows? But I'm gonna try it. Like, you don't think about the pressure that puts on somebody. Like, I guess unless you've lived it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with romantic gestures either. If you want to do something ridiculous and, you know, very grand, that's fine. But pay attention to the context. Because if I had done that in front of her house, or I don't know, somewhere where it's basically just the two of us, or maybe us and a couple of her friends or something, and it's not in front of all of the people that both of us are friends with in the entire school, because it's all of the marching band, and that makes, you know, that's like our entire friends group. She felt so bad because she just wanted to be like, oh, no thanks. That's very sweet, but that couldn't crush my entire soul in front of several hundred people. So just think about the context. Guys, it's okay to be romantic, and you'll probably have some, if you do that, you'll probably still get some no's, and that's very sad. But that's okay. It's cute. It's adorable. It's a thing that kids do, right?
But I feel like romance is intended between people that kind of know each other already. I feel like it's one of those things where you really gotta know what the answer is gonna be. And I know that there's no guarantees in life or anything like that, but I mean, I mean, obviously, definitely don't do big sweeping romantic gestures in front of everybody. But I feel like it applies double for people that you aren't sure are going to say yes. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, but so if you're basically like a stranger to this person, like you have a crush on them, never interacted. Yeah, that's kind of like
It's gonna blow!
Oh
no! What do we do? What are we gonna do? This way!
Our friends groups kind of overlap, so I didn't know she would say yes for sure. But
I'd like to believe that not even you would have.
She didn't leave me mid-conversation, so she must have at least kind of enjoyed
It's
talking
like a
to me.
buffet with a buffet
But
items
I
and more
didn't know
buffets!
she was gonna say yes or anything. I feel like it's fair if you do it in the
What?
context.
No, get back down.
Just be like, yeah, I think you're awesome. We kind of know each other. You want to go on. The other thing with that for kids is, as an adult, not that I've dated as an adult, but like, I feel like if you approach someone and you're like, hey,
Initiative.
you kind of it's like, well, do you want to get to know each other more? You don't necessarily dive right into it. Do you want to go to the most romantic restaurant in the city and then get a hotel downtown afterwards and see what happens? Like, you know, there's levels to it. And if you're going for coffee, you don't have to know if they like you or not. You are inviting them to be like, hey, do you want to talk to me? And I want to talk to you. Like, maybe we'll like each other. But in high school, there's not really such a thing as that. Like, you're dating or you're not dating, and I feel like no matter what you're doing, if you're dating, it's like it's got all this stigma. I don't know. It means something. It means you're kissing.
That means you're kissing.
I
I don't know. The whole concept of dating just seems so, like, I haven't dated in a while, but even like when I did, the whole concept of dating just perks. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it. It's like, hello, person that I'm trying to get to know. Yeah, I swear I'm not just trying to have sex with you. I swear. I don't know. Like,
That's a good lead off.
but kind of like in the same vein, like, I'm not good at making friends either. And I think it's kind of like a spiritual successor of.
Oh, it's the same
Yeah,
idea.
it's the same concept. Like, how do you go
You're
up to,
essentially trying to make a really good friend.
yeah, how do you go up to a human and be like, hey, you seem cool, I think. Let's go. There's no Tinder for friends, right? And it's like,
Friender. Let's make
the only
it.
reason that Bob, you and I are friends is because we were assigned to be roommates, and we just so happened to get
Randomly.
along. That's random.
Yeah.
It's just like you're forced to associate, so it's like you might as well get to know this person that you're in a room with for a long time. But how do you make? I don't even know. This is why people like become an adult and they run out of friends because they move away. And high school is just a situation where you're forced to interact with people, and yet there are no situations where you're forced to interact with people. Like I'm trying to learn Korean, so I want to meet Korean friends. How the fuck do I do that? How do I do it?
I've got an idea. Let's start an app. We'll call it Friender. Or, you know how there's preschool? What if we have post school for people just to go and have apple juice and, relearn the alphabet or something and make
You're describing like a nursing home.
well, a nursing home, but you don't have to be knocking on death's door to go.
I mean, there does kind of need to be a thing. But when I was in college, too, I didn't make friends in college besides with Bob, really. And it's just
didn't
because,
really
like, it's not the same. You're in the same place with these other people, but you're not forced to interact. You don't have a locker next to someone. You're just like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
There's no group activities in college. I hated all the people I was activities with or, like, assigned to do group work with.
No, dude, you know what? I will say, I made friends in college. As far as I'm remembering, except for like you, Mark, all the friends I made in college were people who were in music school. Because music school was like a high school for people who are too old to go to high school. It was like this, I don't know if you remember what your experience was, but I went to the University of Cincinnati. They have the College Conservatory of Music. It's a very good music school in general.
Yeah, dude.
But it's like a little high school. It's very like cliquey and I don't know, weird. Like there's some it's kind of one of those things where it becomes its own little microcosm. And I made friends through that because we were essentially forced to interact, like you were saying. I didn't like another person that I met in any of my regular classes at college or anything else that I did. As far as I'm remembering, I did group projects with people. I was in a degree program once I switched out of music that was not that big. I think there were 20 of us that graduated my year with my degree. We all kind of knew each other. Didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Didn't like those people.
Oh, my God.
Didn't stay friends for 5 minutes once I was done doing whatever I did.
God, you know what the tragedy is? All the people that I liked in my program dropped out. And I'm guessing, like, me included, I ended up dropping out. But I was going to finish. But everyone else, like, I didn't really like. I don't get it.
I think that's possibly $1 million app.
Yeah, definitely.
Grindr, no, not Grindr. Tinder,
Friender.
but for friendship.
I mean,
it could be Grindr for friendship. That seems like a non-important specificity that it's for gay friendship.
is it one of those things where no matter what, those apps are going to be used for fucking people? Because it's going to boil down to that, right?
Probably, definitely.
It's boils down to it because there's no way that you can be like, I want to make a friend. Do you specify gender? Is it like anything like that? Do you get like who do you meet up with? Like creeps are gonna find people and be like, hey, I want to be a friend with you. No, it's like always a risk when you're going out to meet humans because humans are sometimes terrible. Ugh.
The creeps always only have deep voices.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, not me though. I mean, it's like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. You know what I mean?
Hello, everybody.
This episode of Distractable is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Sometimes you just need to talk. It doesn't have to be about a big thing. It doesn't have to be like a world-ending problem. It's just something that's on your mind that you can't get in your head. And you just need to talk to a professional about it.
BetterHelp is here to help you with that. They can assess your needs and match you with your very own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating with that therapist in under 48 hours. This is not a crisis line. If you are having some sort of serious, imminent crisis that is happening right now, this is not that. This is a way to get in touch with professional counseling done online in a secure, private way. And when you're working with a BetterHelp therapist, you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor, and you can expect timely and thoughtful responses.
And it's affordable.
You can visit betterhelp.com/distract.
An opening.
HELP and join the over currently recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. They've given us a special offer for our distractible listeners. You can get 10% off your first month at
And the crowd goes nuts! Will's our best friend! Yeah! We're all going to his birthday and giving him all the...
Do you like listening to podcasts?
Another one? Must be the other one's ugly wingman. Tell them to handle it.
The new
What? That'd be like punching a baby! No challenge!
Silence! Kill the fat one!
What kind of sounds you guys like?
I like frogs. Like